My name is Mike Hennessy. I'm Director of Veteran Services here for the City of Marlborough. And I'd like to welcome you to our, it's becoming annual, Medal of Liberty and Medal of Fidelity presentations. We are here to honor the families of those who died of illness and who were killed in action. And I think that makes Marlborough pretty special because we're one of the few communities that do it yearly. We had one of the biggest 2 years ago for our first outside of Boston for the Medal of Liberty. And we were one of the first cities to do the Medal of Fidelity event in the Commonwealth. And I think that's something pretty spectacular that we do. And it just shows that we here in Marlborough will never forget the sacrifices of our military. With that being said, I'd like to introduce our opening prayer for Bob Gregoire, the chaplain for the Marlborough Veterans Council.
Uncover, please. We, the veterans, have gathered here this evening to pay respects and to give comfort to the family and friends. We ask you to join with us in the spirit of fellowship and prayer. Together, let us pray the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. In verdant pastures, he gives me repose. Beside restful waters, he leads me, he refreshes my soul. He guides me in right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk in the dark valley, I fear no evil, for you are at my side with your rod and staff that give me courage. You spread the table before me in the light of the foes. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Only goodness and kindness follow me all the days of my life. And I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for years to come. Amen.
Thank you, Bob. Now I invite you all to stand, if you can, for the Pledge of Allegiance by Richard Hamill.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd now like to introduce the Mayor of Marlborough, the Honorable Christian Dumas.
Thank you. Good afternoon. As mentioned, my name is Christian Dumas, and I'm the mayor here in Marlborough. I almost forgot my name for a second, yeah. I'd also like to recognize State Representative Danielle Gregoire, and there's two councilors in the back, Councilor Roby and Councilor Facilio. Thank you for being here today. It is a true privilege to welcome you to Marlborough and to honor your fallen loved ones who gave their lives for our country and our freedom. Your relatives made the ultimate sacrifice, and we're forever indebted to them. These honors, the Medal of Liberty and the Medal of Fidelity, are a way for us to recognize their heroism and pay tribute to their life. As mayor, it is my commitment to always support our veterans and find opportunities to honor those that have passed who served our country. If you weren't aware, today, June 14th, is Flag Day. I find it befitting that today, of all days, we present these honors to the men who died fighting behind our beautiful flag. I would like to thank and recognize Lieutenant Commander Matthew Sargent and Sandra Huey for their dedicated work researching the stories of your loved ones and bestowing on them this well-deserved honor. I'd also like to thank Marlborough Historical Society, the VSO agent Michael Hennessy, the Library Director Sarah Belisle, Douglas Rowe, Robert Gregoire, and State Representative Danielle Gregoire for your help organizing this touching ceremony. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd now like to introduce State Representative Danielle Gregoire.
Thank you, Mike. Good evening, everyone. It's truly an honor to be with you this evening and to look out into this crowd and see so many familiar faces as we're here to celebrate the lives of these men who served their country so dutifully and who made so many sacrifices for all of the freedoms that we still maintain. I always like to point out that it's not only the service members who make those sacrifices, but also their families. So it's very important that you're all here tonight to honor that memory, and we honor you as well. I too want to thank Mike and Matt for their work, everyone at the Historical Society, and everyone who's worked so hard to put this event together. Our community has come great strides in the last couple of years in recognizing our service members and the folks who made the ultimate sacrifice thanks to the work of Matt. And I think we're all really lucky to have him here in the community, and we're all very blessed for the work that he does. So I'm grateful to you, Matt, so thank you for that. And thank you for letting me play a small part. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative Gregoire. I'd now like to introduce Lieutenant Commander Matthew Sargent from the Marlborough Historical Society.
Hello, and thank you for joining us this evening. Marlborough has always answered the nation's call from the earliest conflicts in the colonial wars until present conflicts globally. Today, we remember 11 men who made the ultimate sacrifice during World War I, World War II, and the Korean conflict. We will also recognize 3 men whose death was a direct result of their service long after the war in Vietnam had ended. I'd like to thank Sandra Huey for her tireless efforts to locate the next of kin of these heroes. I'd like to thank Mike Hennessy of the Veterans Service Office for his continued support of the Historical Society's efforts to remember Marlborough's own. And finally, thank you to our elected officials who are here tonight to remember citizens from this great city. I would also like to thank any Vietnam veteran in the room. Please stand if you served during the Vietnam War. Please hold all applause until the end. When directed, please come to the presentation table and feel free to take photos. We'll use the middle aisle here, and the presentation will be in the middle. Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 33, Section 67A. There should be a Medal of Liberty which shall be awarded to the next of kin of servicemen and women from the Commonwealth, killed in action or who died in service while in a designated combat area in the line of duty, or who died as a result of wounds received in action. On behalf of Governor Maura Healey, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Medal of Liberty is presented to Private Ralph Joseph Lord. Ralph was born and raised in Marlborough. He enlisted in the Army the 31st of March, 1917, and assigned to Company K of the 104th Infantry Regiment, 26th Yankee Division. He departed for Europe the 3rd of October, 1917, aboard the U.S. Army transport Ariane, fighting in the battles of Ans, Château-Thierry, Lorraine, Saint-Mihiel, and the Second Battle of the Marne. On the 20th of July, 1918, Ralph was killed in action near Bellewood, France. He was 20 years old. Ralph was buried in the Ans Marne American Cemetery and Memorial in Belle, France, Block A, Row 3, Grave 75. Lord Road in Marlborough is named in his honor. Accepting the medal on behalf of Ralph Joseph Lord is his nephew, Bob Lord of Westborough, Massachusetts. On behalf of Governor Maura Healey, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Medal of Liberty is presented to Private James Sturgeon Gagas. James was born in Zupino, Greece, and immigrated to the United States in 1914. While working at the Curtis Shoe Factory, he enlisted in the Army the 31st of March, 1917, and was assigned to Company G of the 104th Infantry Regiment, 26th Yankee Division. He departed for Europe aboard the U.S. Army transport Ariane the 3rd of October, 1917, fighting in the battles of Ans, Château-Thierry, Lorraine, Saint-Mihiel, and the Second Battle of the Marne. He was severely wounded in action on the 19th of July, 1918. On the 15th of September, James was killed in action at Saint-Hilaire, France, against a German counterattack for which he was recommended for a divisional citation. James was 20 years old. He's buried at the Saint-Mihiel American Cemetery and Memorial in Thiaco, Regionville, France. Gagas Lane in Marlborough is named in his honor. Accepting the medal on behalf of James Sturgeon Gagas is his cousin Michael Gagas from South Kingstown, Rhode Island. On behalf of Governor Maura Healey, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Medal of Liberty is presented to Sergeant Franklin Royal Maddox. Frank was born in Nashua, New Hampshire, but raised in Marlborough, where he worked as a letter carrier for the post office. Although married with 3 small children, he enlisted in the National Guard the 14th of November, 1916, and served in Company F of the 6th Massachusetts Infantry. Mobilized for federal service, he was assigned to Company B, the 104th Infantry Regiment, 26th Yankee Division. He departed for Europe the 5th of October 1917 aboard the U.S. Army transport Scodian. Participating in numerous actions, including the Second Battle of the Marne, Frank was killed in action on the 11th of July 1918 during the Battle of Bellewood, France. He was 24 years old. He's buried at Rocklawn Cemetery in Marlborough, Massachusetts. Maddox Road is named in his honor. Accepting the medal on behalf of Sergeant Franklin Royal Maddox is his grandson, Peter Maddox of Marlborough, Massachusetts. On behalf of Governor Maura Healey, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Medal of Liberty is presented to Water Tender 3rd Class Fred Wesley Wyman. Fred was born and raised in Goffstown, New Hampshire, and came to Marlborough to work and live with his sister and grandparents. He enlisted in the Coast Guard the 9th of May, 1917, and was assigned to the U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Gresham as a Water Tender 3rd Class. He was transferred to the U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Tampa the 23rd of September, 1917. While on patrol in the Bristol Channel, the Tampa was torpedoed by German U-boat UB-91 and sunk with a loss of all hands. He was 23 years old. Accepting the medal on behalf of Water Tender 3rd Class Fred Wesley Wyman is his grandnephew Douglas Wyman of Concord, New Hampshire.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
On behalf of Governor Maura Healey, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Medal of Liberty is presented to Private Nicholas Marco Zompetti. Nicholas was born in Marlborough and raised at 52 Harrison Place. He enlisted in the Army Air Corps the 30th of April, 1941, and was assigned to the 339th Bombardment Squadron, 96th Bombardment Group, as an assistant radio operator. On the 2nd of December, 1942, the B-17 that Nicholas was a crew member of crashed near Soda Springs, Idaho, killing all aboard. He was 20 years old. Nicholas is buried at the Immaculate Conception Cemetery in Marlborough. Zompetti Street in Marlborough is named in his honor. Accepting the medal on behalf of Private Nicholas Marco Zompetti is his niece, Laura Lichtenberger of Sacramento, California. On behalf of Governor Maura Healey, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Medal of Liberty is presented to Private Kenneth Edward Miller. Kenneth was born and raised in Medford, Massachusetts, and enlisted in the Army the 14th of September, 1943. He was assigned to Company C of the 743rd Tank Battalion as a driver of an M4 Sherman tank. Kenneth arrived to his new unit after they had landed on Omaha Beach on D-Day. On the 18th of October, 1944, the tank Ken was driving was hit by enemy fire, killing him and his assistant driver. His remains were not recovered, and he is still officially listed as missing in action. He was 19 years old. His parents have a memorial stone in his memory at the Evergreen Cemetery in Marlborough. Accepting the medal on behalf of Private Kenneth Edward Miller is his nephew, Kenneth Peltier of Peabody, Massachusetts. On behalf of Governor Maura Healey, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Medal of Liberty is presented to Technical Sergeant Elwood Robert Algren. Elwood was born in New Hampshire and raised in Marlborough. He enlisted in the Army Air Corps the 25th of July, 1939. He served in both Panama and South America before being assigned to the 599th Bombardment Squadron, 397th Bombardment Group, as an engineer gunner aboard a B-26 Marauder aircraft. On the 23rd of December, 1944, the aircraft Unconscious II that Elwood was a crew member of was shot down by enemy fighters near Frankfurt, Germany. He was 25 years old. He's buried at Arlington National Cemetery in Washington, D.C. Algren Circle in Marlborough is named in his honor. Accepting the medal on behalf of Technical Sergeant Elwood Algren is his grandnephew, Sergeant Brian Clark of Richmond, New Hampshire. On behalf of Governor Maura Healey, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Medal of Liberty is presented to Staff Sergeant James Edward McGee. James was born and raised in Marlborough and a graduate of both Marlborough High School and Suffolk Law School. He enlisted in the Army Air Corps the 17th of June, 1942. Following his training, he was assigned to the 1,333rd Army Air Force Bases Unit in the China-Burma India Theater and stationed in Shabua, India. Assigned to resupply missions over the Himalayas, James survived the war. On the 3rd of November, 1945, while departing the theater, the aircraft James was aboard crashed in the Himalayan mountains, killing all 40 aboard. He was 33 years old. He's buried at the Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery in St. Louis, Missouri. McGee Avenue in Marlborough is named in his honor. Accepting the medal on behalf of Staff Sergeant James McGee is his great-niece, Cindy Trapp of Hudson, Massachusetts. On behalf of Governor Maura Healey, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Medal of Liberty is presented to Second Lieutenant Albert Joseph Algosi. Albert was born and raised in Marlborough and a graduate of Marlborough High School. He enlisted into the Army the 19th of January, 1941, and served in the Massachusetts National Guard 114th Quartermaster's Headquarters Company. He was selected for service in the Army Air Corps and was eventually commissioned as Second Lieutenant and Bombardier. He was assigned to the 504th Bombardment Squadron, 339th Bombardment Group, aboard B-17 Flying Fortress aircraft. On the 17th of May, 1943, the aircraft Albert was aboard crashed near Dyersburg, Tennessee, killing all aboard. He was 23 years old. He's buried at the Immaculate Conception Cemetery in Marlborough, Massachusetts. Algosi Road in Marlborough is named in his honor. Accepting the medal on behalf of Second Lieutenant Albert Algosi is his nieces Lori Lowe from Hudson, Massachusetts, and Annabelle Anastas of Westminster, Massachusetts. On behalf of Governor Maura Healey, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Medal of Liberty is presented to Private First Class John Robert Teller. John was born and raised in Marlborough before moving to Swansea and graduating from Chase High School in 1943 as class president. He enlisted in the Army the 25th of September 1944, was assigned to the 346th Infantry Regiment, 87th Infantry Division. The 346th participated in campaigns across France and into Germany. On the 12th of April, 1945, while attacking the German town of Sundramata, John was killed in action by German artillery. He was 19 years old. He's buried at the Immaculate Conception Cemetery in Marlborough, the Maplewood Cemetery in Marlborough, Massachusetts. Teller Street in Marlborough is named in his honor. Accepting the medal on behalf of Private First Class John Teller is his sister, Patricia Wood of Coventry, Rhode Island. On behalf of Governor Maura Healey, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Medal of Liberty is presented to Sergeant William John Rogers. William was born in Massachusetts and raised in Westboro, and moved to Marlborough with his parents shortly before enlisting in the Army the 24th of January, 1949. He was assigned to the 38th Infantry Regiment of the 2nd Infantry Division and was one of the first American units to reach the Korean Peninsula with the outbreak of hostilities in 1950. William and the 38th Regiment broke out of the Busan perimeter and pushed north past the 38th parallel. He was wounded in action in October of 1950 by white phosphorus. He was killed in action the 25th of November 1950 near Kunuri, North Korea. He was 20 years old. He's buried at the Pine Grove Cemetery in Westboro, Massachusetts. Rogers Avenue in Marlborough is named in his honor. Accepting the medal on behalf of Sergeant William Rogers is his nephew, William Rogers, from Methuen, Massachusetts. Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 33, Section 67B. There should be a Massachusetts Medal of Fidelity to be presented to the next of kin of a service member or veteran who died as a result of 1. Service-connected post-traumatic stress disorder, 2. A condition resulting from a service-connected traumatic brain injury, or 3. A service-connected disease, condition, or injury related to the exposure to harmful toxins, herbicides, agents, or materials where the exposure occurred while serving the armed forces of the United States, active or reserve components, or the Massachusetts National Guard. On behalf of Governor Maura Healey, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Medal of Fidelity is presented to Sergeant Robert Edward Lamburn. Robert was born in Framingham and raised in Marlborough, graduating from Marlborough Vocational High School. He enlisted in the Army the 11th of October, 1968, and served in the 502nd Infantry Regiment of the 101st Airborne Division. Sent to Vietnam, Robert was assigned to I Corps and performed search and destroy missions, and he would earn a Bronze Star, Air Medal, and Army Commendation Medal from his time in the service. He was discharged the 4th of October, 1970. After his time in the service, Robert married and would have 2 children and was the owner and operator of a Sunoco station on the corner of Bolton and Elm Street in Marlborough. He suffered from the effects of post-traumatic stress disorder from his time in Vietnam. He remarried Minnie Lamburn in 1996 and was a stepfather to her 2 sons. He was an avid lover of NASCAR, part of a racing team in Westboro Speedway, and a talented mechanic. He died the 26th of September 1999 from esophageal cancer directly related to his exposure to Agent Orange in Vietnam. He was 51 years old. Robert is buried at the Evergreen Cemetery in Marlborough, Massachusetts. Accepting the medal on behalf of Sergeant Robert Lamburn is his widow, Minnie Lamburn, from Marlborough, Massachusetts. On behalf of Governor Maura Healey, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Medal of Fidelity is presented to Specialist 4, Robert Anthony Peltak. Robert was born and raised in Marlborough and graduated from Marlborough High School. He enlisted in the Army the 29th of September 1967, was assigned to the 630th Ordnance Company, and sent to Vietnam in July of 1968. Robert was transferred to the 9th Cavalry Regiment of the 1st Air Cavalry Division in 1969, where he served as a helicopter door gunner. He received an Air Medal with Valor device for piloting a helicopter back to his base after the pilot was wounded, as well as a Bronze Star. Robert was discharged the 28th of September 1970. After his time in the service, he worked as a painter for Hanson Painting, as well as in the maintenance department for the Marlborough Public Schools before retiring in 1996. He married Donna Marlowe in 1986, and they would have one daughter, Marlo. He was involved with numerous veterans organizations and one of the original players for the Marlborough Shamrocks football team. Robert died from cancer directly related to exposure to Agent Orange from his time in Vietnam, the 3rd of October, 2012. He was 65 years old. He's buried at the Evergreen Cemetery in Marlborough, Massachusetts. Accepting the medal on behalf of Specialist 4 Robert Peltak is his widow, Donna Peltak, from Marlborough, Massachusetts. On behalf of Governor Maura Healey, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Medal of Fidelity is presented a specialist for David Paul Spirio. David was born and raised in Marlborough and a graduate of Marlborough High School. He enlisted in the Army the 29th of December 1967, was assigned to the Military Assistance Command Vietnam Advisory Team 3 and sent to Vietnam. While in Vietnam, David worked as part of an advisory team to the 1st Vietnamese Army Division in Hue in the Quang Tri Province. Following his tour in Vietnam, he was assigned to the 575th Engineering Battalion in Fort Stewart, Georgia, and married Diane Finnan shortly after arriving back in the United States. He was discharged from the Army the 10th of December 1970. Following his time in the service, he worked as a canine police officer for the Marlborough Police Department and also as a Veterans Affairs police officer in Boston, ultimately retiring as the Information Security Officer for the Boston Healthcare System in 2007. David and Diane had one daughter, Sandra, and a beloved granddaughter, Riley. David was an avid hunter and enjoyed summering in Wells, Maine, as well as being active in numerous veterans organizations. David died the 25th of June, 2019, following a battle with cancer and heart disease directly related to his exposure to Agent Orange in Vietnam. He was 71 years old. He's buried at the St. Mary's Cemetery in Marlborough, Massachusetts. Accepting the medal on behalf of Specialist 4 David Spirio is his widow, Diane Spirio, from Marlborough, Massachusetts. This concludes our service today, and if we could just do one more round of applause for all those we're remembering tonight. And just for everyone's awareness too, we have photo collages created by the Marlborough Historical Society out to the left here. If you came in through the other door, you might not have seen them. And everyone's welcome to, if you know any of these folks, or especially for the Vietnam era, if you'd like to, share some stories or talk with the families, I think that would be welcome.